I am glad you are here. You obviously all want to become better students. That is a very important first step. Now, I would like to start by asking everyone a very important question. Do you know what kind of learner you are? There are 3 different types: visual, auditory, and interactive learners. The first type we are going to talk about is visual. Visual learners learn best when information is written in diagrams or in picture form. Next, let's look at auditory learners. Auditory learners learn best when they listen to information in lectures, tapes, or discussions. Finally, we have interactive learners. Interactive learners learn best by actively doing something, like building a science experiment or participating in a group discussion. You will take a short test to find out what kind of learner you are. Have you ever heard the story of Robin Hood? He is a fictional character who steals money from the rich and gives it to the poor. In the United States, in the 1930s, there was something called the Great Depression. During that time, a lot of people lost their jobs, and people stopped spending money. Because of this, many banks closed and did not give people back the money they had put in the bank. A lot of people were mad at the banks, and some of them turned to crime.
This amazed both my father and me, for some of the things would have been hard to guess. Dr. Tomorrow offered to tell my father's future, but my dad said, "No thanks. The future comes fast enough." We thanked the man and walked out. We both wondered if a person could really know the future. I still do not know the answer to that question.
Well, my group was great. And I loved my host family. We were all American high school students, but we all came from different states, and we had different religions and cultures. We learned that we weren't really so different. We spent every day together for 4 weeks, and we learned that people are people. We became such good friends, more than friends. We were like a family. I loved my host family in Costa Rica. They were so warm and friendly. They became my family too. From the first day, I felt like I was their daughter. They called me Anna. They spoke only a little English, and at first, I didn't speak much Spanish. But I learned a lot of Spanish from them, and in my Spanish class too. And I also learned that language is not always so important. Well, you know, sometimes a smile can say more than words. If you're in high school and you want to have a great summer, go on the experiment in international living. It was the best summer of my life. I'm sure it will be the best summer of your life, too.
This past summer, I went to my grandpa's house in the countryside. There were no televisions or computer games. Instead, I spent time with kids in the neighborhood, picking wild berries and catching grasshoppers in the fields. The nights were the best part of my trip. We lay on the grass and watched the stars in the sky. It was nothing like the sky in the city. It was completely dark. You could not even see your own fingers. The stars were so bright and clear, and there were so many of them. Even saw the Milky Way, All the kids shared what we knew about the stars and picked out shapes with our imaginations. I was fascinated by the wonder of the night sky. It was so different from anything I had seen in the city.
John Dillinger was one of those people. He and his gang went around the United States robbing banks. They stole over $300,000. Some people considered Dillinger to be a modern-day Robin Hood. They said the banks stole from ordinary people, so they were happy to see an ordinary person steal from banks. Eventually, Dillinger was caught and killed by police. And while some people considered Dillinger to be a hero, to the police and the banks he stole from, he was a very bad villain.
Subscribe, like, share.